as the 2001 American Grand Prix is underway and heading towards the first corner, and there you have it, Gaston Mazzacane is leading the 2001 American Grand Prix. But where's Jacques Villeneuve? He's in 7th. Jacques Villeneuve has dropped positions from the start. And there you go, Jacques Villeneuve. I wasn't expecting him to make the move at this part of the circuit, the sort of back straight in the middle of the track, but he's done it. He's got past Mazzacane, and Olivier Panis heading towards the first corner side by side with Gaston Mazzacane. It is so close, but Panis, he has been on top form ever since Jacques Villeneuve took the lead of the Grand Prix. Panis has just been on the offensive, and every single overtaking move he has made has stuck. And there you go, Olivier Panis is currently 2nd in this American Grand Prix. It is a BAR, a British American Racing 1-2 here in Indianapolis. And Jacques Villeneuve, he's done exactly what he needed to do. He's won the Italian Grand Prix, and he's going to come across the line to win the American Grand Prix for British American Racing. Amazingly, even though the Ferraris were starting to come into play, even Heinz-Harald Frentzen, despite that, Gaston Mazzacane finished 3rd this American Grand Prix. Let me read out a list of drivers. Juan Pablo Montoya, Ralf Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Olivier Panis, Tarso Marquez, Jean Alesi, Jacques Villeneuve, Jos Verstappen, Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Enrique Bernoldi. They have nothing in common apart from the fact that all of them have won a race this season. Some are rookies and some have been in the sport for years. Some are top race-winning drivers and others would otherwise have fallen into the pages of Formula 1 obscurity. It's been a season where 11 drivers have won a race, matching the previously considered untouchable record from 1982. Not only that, but every driver has scored at least 1 point this season. Apart from Mika Hakkinen, amazingly the 2 times world champion and one of the most likely drivers you would imagine anyway to score points hasn't scored any. He has certainly come close, but not quite close enough. But really this season has been about 2 teams, Benetton and BAR. The 2 midfielders have taken advantage of the reverse starting grids like no one else and have been the class of the field. But really all eyes are on Jacques Villeneuve and Jenson Button. From day one they've been right up there, as the first race of the season saw Villeneuve take 2nd and Button take 3rd. Both Villeneuve and Button have 3 race wins each, both Benetton and BAR have 2 1-2 finishes each. They really are quite a pair. BAR were down, smashed, battered and bruised, but certainly not out. As we all know, good form comes to an end eventually, and Benetton can certainly testify to that. No race win since France, no 1-2 finish since the Austrian Grand Prix, and not even any points since the race around Spa. On the contrary, BAR turned up the wick in the second half of this season and started beating the Benettons along with pretty much everyone else. In a sport where anything can happen, almost all of it did. BAR overtook the previously untouchable Benetton team in the Constructors' Championship last time out. But can this season provide one more twist? Button's effectively a bystander to his own championship fate, as it all rests on Villeneuve. 3rd place for the Canadian, and he's won the 2001 Formula 1 World Drivers' Championship, not on points or even race wins, but on 2nd place finishes. 2 worthy drivers fighting over only 1 trophy. The question is, who will come out on top as the 2001 Formula 1 World Drivers' Champion?
We're at the superb Suzuka race circuit in Japan. The drivers love Suzuka, and for sure, we're in for a great race today. 2nd position is Jos Verstappen. Taking up 3rd position is Bernoldi. 4th on the grid for Gaston Mazzacane. And in 5th, we have Alonso. And 6th spot is Panis. Luciano Berti is on row 4 and in 7th position. Jean Alesi 8th. Jacques Villeneuve in 9th spot. Eddie Irvine 10th position. 11th for Kimi Räikkönen. Heinz-Harald Frentzen is in 12th. Nick Heidfeld is on row 7. Jenson Button is in 14th. Jarno Trulli in 15th spot. David Coulthard is in 16th spot. Giancarlo Fisichella takes up 17th place. 18th for Mika Häkkinen. Rubens Barrichello 19th. 20th is Ralf Schumacher. On to the back of the grid now, and in 21st place we have Juan Pablo Montoya. And last on the grid is Michael Schumacher.
For one final time this season, thanks Murray. So there we are with Jenson Button, but moving up towards Jacques Villeneuve, he's starting in 9th place, all eyes are on him. But as we move up towards the front with Tarso Marquez, the 2001 Japanese Grand Prix is underway. He's still leading from both arrows on Mazzacane from his teammate Fernando Alonso. Heading towards the first corner, Tarso Marquez is still leading the Japanese Grand Prix. Mazzacane was out on the grass, but Verstappen is still in 2nd, Benaldi 3rd, Mazzacane 4th, Alesi 5th, Olivier Panis in 6th, but honestly, there's nothing Panis can really do apart from let his teammate through. BAR are already leading the Constructors' Championship. Panis has got very little to fight for in the Drivers' Championship. Really, all we can do is just watch out. In fact, there they are, Jenson Button and Jacques Villeneuve, the two championship rivals side by side out on track, and Button's gone. Button has gone. That really does. That summarised that season. That really did. Jenson Button fighting and fighting and fighting, but then right towards the very end, gone. So we've still got Marquez. Jos Verstappen is still for the time being in 2nd place, just ahead of Benaldi. Mazzacane still in 4th, Alesi 5th, Panis just about in 6th place, Irvine, Frentzen, Villeneuve. Villeneuve, he's pulled away from Jenson Button just a slight bit. In fact, there is someone separating now. It's Fernando Alonso. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting Button and Villeneuve to actually be fighting each other out on track. As I just said, Jenson Button is effectively a bystander. That's what I said, and I guess he still to an extent is. That is a very strange line from Jos Verstappen there, but Enrique Benaldi has taken 2nd place, and Alesi's on the grass, and what on earth is he doing? Well, that is a very strange line. I mean, I would not go out on the grass just before 1:30. Oh, he's out on the grass again. He's out on the grass again as Jean Alesi, and I think that has now cost him a position to Jacques Villeneuve. So Villeneuve, he's now in, I believe, 7th position. There you go. Villeneuve in 7th. He needs 3rd place at least. He's got the speed. Olivier Panis isn't too far ahead as well. We could see another BAR 1-2, but we've done a lap. There's only 12 more left to go. It's not massively easy to overtake around this track. In fact, I believe Villeneuve, well, he's only passed Fernando Alonso, who's in the Minardis. That's pretty easy to do. And Jean Alesi, and Alesi spent most of the time just before he was overtaken out on the grass. Jacques Villeneuve in 7th. He's already had a moment with Jenson Button. I really was not expecting that, but still. I mean, BAR, they've won the Constructors' Championship. Effectively, they have. Unless Benetton take a 1-2 finish, they've done it. It's just the Drivers' Championship, and I'm sure there's lots of battles with lots of different drivers up and down the field. I'm still, interested to see if Mika Häkkinen scores a point. In fact, Jacques Villeneuve has just been overtaken by Alesi once again, and Jenson Button is still right there in the background, just behind Jacques Villeneuve. Panis is up into 3rd place. He's making forward movement, unlike Jacques Villeneuve. But of course, there's all sorts of potential championship battles for different positions up and down the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Ferrari again closed up in the Constructors' Championship. In fact, if Prost scored quite a few points here, Prost could beat Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. Mika Häkkinen, of course, still hasn't scored any points, and I really doubt he's going to be scoring any points. The AI around this game is really bad, actually, isn't it? Oh no, sorry, not around this game, around this track. Because Jacques Villeneuve's down into 10th place. Just going out on the grass, he's had a massive collision! What on earth has happened? Jacques Villeneuve, I think he's taken himself out of the championship. My word, I was not expecting that. Jacques Villeneuve and a Jordan. I don't know who it was. I can only imagine. It must have been Heinz-Harald Frentzen, yeah, because Trulli was away down the order. Barrichello's going all over the place. Hakkinen has capitalised to some extent. He's now up into 12th place. Mika Hakkinen, if he doesn't score any points, I will talk about this, but Hakkinen should have scored some points. I'll talk about this if he doesn't score any this race, but what? I mean, 130R was a dramatic corner under normal circumstances, but wow, I mean, drivers going out on the grass, collisions towards the Casio chicane, the Casio triangle. David Coulthard might score some points for McLaren. In fact, I believe McLaren are only 1 point behind Jaguar in the Constructors' Championship, so actually a race between Irvine and Coulthard could be substantial. Panis is now moving backwards, but I believe out of all of this, Tarso Marquez is still leading the race. And where is Heinz-Harald Frentzen? I don't remember seeing him. Is he retired? No, he's out. He's in last, and amazing. Actually, maybe he came into the pits, because I'm pretty certain I saw a front wing fly off, but whew, what a race this has been. But with Jacques Villeneuve down and out, I think that's it. I think Jenson Button, where is he? Button, he's even got track position on Jacques Villeneuve, so that's it. Jenson Button, I believe, is going to be the 2001 World Drivers' Champion in this 2001 Reverse Grid Race Series. Hang on, I don't know when this happened. I can only imagine it happened very recently, just going down the start-finish straight when I was too busy looking at Jenson Button. But Enrique Bernoldi has taken the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix from Tarso Marquez. Marquez, let's not forget Marquez, there's only one race where he scored points. In fact, he did take a race win at that race. It was the Monaco Grand Prix, which Marquez led from start to finish. And Marquez, I mean, sure, he hasn't got the car. He's got easily the worst car on the grid. Even the Arrows and the Prost, even their car is noticeably quicker than the Minardi. So it's difficult to say how much of a disappointment Marquez's season has been, because he's only scored points at one race. At least Alonso's done better than that. Jacques Villeneuve, 18th place. He's got no track position, no points currently in this race, and down and out. And Jacques Villeneuve, we didn't get the best camera angle of that crash, but it certainly looked like the crash is either his fault or certainly he could have avoided it. But Villeneuve down in 18th, sure, he's battling with Michael Schumacher currently. Well, at some point Olivier Panis did overtake Tarso Marquez, because Panis is now in second, right up behind Enrique Bernoldi. We're missing all the people overtaking Marquez. It's because I'm too busy looking at Hakkinen, Villeneuve, Button. Those are the drivers that are most interesting to me. They're the ones with the biggest stories, the biggest things to possibly gain or lose heading into this race. So I haven't been paying too much attention for the lead battle, but Marquez, he's a good few seconds behind Panis and Bernoldi at this point. So the battle for the race lead is going to come down between Olivier Panis and Enrique Bernoldi, which I think is going to hurt even more for Villeneuve, knowing that Villeneuve, all he needed was a podium finish. He was only starting a few places behind his teammate, and Panis could easily, probably will, win the Grand Prix. And knowing that, it means that Villeneuve could so easily have taken a podium finish, won the Drivers' Championship, and that's just... it's just gutting for Jacques Villeneuve. But heading towards 130R, is this going to be the move? No, Olivier Panis went out onto the grass. He's now way behind Bernoldi. Oh, hang on, I think we've got someone else who's going to overtake Tarso Marquez. It's Kimi Räikkönen in the Sauber. And for a long time, Kimi Räikkönen and the Sauber team, both of them, it took them a long time to score some points. I think Räikkönen didn't score any points until the Austrian Grand Prix. Sauber, it looked like for a while we're going to finish last in the Constructors' Championship. And sure, they're not doing much better now. They're only 2 points ahead of McLaren. I believe Sauber currently are 9th. Yeah, they must be if they're 2 points ahead. I think they're 9th in the Constructors' Championship, but Kimi Räikkönen, his best performance all season, he's left it good. He's left a good performance right to the very end. He's in 3rd place, and there you go. This proves more than anything else why he deserved that McLaren drive in 2002. Olivier Panis still in 2nd, still Bernoldi is leading the Japanese Grand Prix. People are slowly filtering by Tarso Marquez, but for the time being, the person who's next in line to get past Tarso Marquez to take 4th place this Japanese Grand Prix is Jenson Button. A man who I thought was really not going to score any points this race. I thought it was unlikely, not impossible, but unlikely. And now it's entirely possible. In fact, we got Williams, Juan Pablo Montoya in 6th place. We haven't seen Williams be this far up the field for a long time. David Coulthard still in 8th, doing McLaren somewhat proud. Of course, it's still 2 years too early for him to be scoring points in 8th place. And where is... Did I skip... How on earth did Mika Hakkinen end up back here? He must have got involved in some sort of crash, but Mika Hakkinen... I knew it was unlikely, but I was still hoping that Mika Hakkinen would score a point this season, and he's down in stone dead last. He's even behind Frentzen and Villeneuve, those two who had a massive crash with each other. I don't know how Villeneuve has found himself so much, or so far behind Bertie. Again, the problem with not having a replay mode... Well, there is a replay mode in this game, but it's not in the spectator mode. I don't know why, but anyway. So yeah, Villeneuve, Frentzen and somehow Hakkinen, they all lost out massively this race. Still Benaldi leading, still Panis going out into the grass, Raikkonen 3rd, still Marquez is in 4th, but of course there's a lot of quick guys and a lot of even, you know, guys in slower cars who are waiting to get by. Both Ferraris are only just there, and also David Coulthard out into the grass on the other side. Panis still in 2nd, but we've got a lot of moves waiting to happen, but most of them revolving around Tarso Marquez, as now Montoya is the driver in 5th place. Hang on, who's this? Michael Schumacher. Of all the people, Michael Schumacher is the one to finally get past Tarso Marquez. Button's had a go, Mazzacane, Montoya, David Coulthard. But Michael Schumacher, he's had to fight his way through and past all of those people and then overtake Tarso Marquez. But he's done it. Michael Schumacher, he's up into 4th place. There was a time towards the start of this season when Michael Schumacher was a championship contender. Then he became an outside championship contender, and then he just, well, stopped scoring points. Olivier Panis, heading round 130R, has taken the lead of the race from Enrique Benaldi. Kimi Raikkonen was in 2nd place very briefly. I would have cut it out. I wouldn't have shown it to you because, well, I mean, last time I looked, Panis had just overtaken Kimi Raikkonen, but now Panis is leading the Grand Prix. Benaldi's in 2nd, Raikkonen's in 3rd. So here we are on the final lap of the Grand Prix, and Suzuka, it never ever ever fails to put on an interesting race, especially if it's the final race of a season. Jacques Villeneuve taking himself out of the Grand Prix. Mika Hakkinen ending all hopes of scoring points this season. Mika Hakkinen in a McLaren hasn't scored any points all season. As I said, when I get onto the Drivers' Championship, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Benaldi is still holding 2nd. Kimi Raikkonen is at his best race of the season in 3rd. Michael Schumacher's in 4th. Marquez might score points in 2 different races this season. That will be something I really didn't expect. But coming around the final corner, Olivier Panis for BAR is going to win the 2001 Japanese Grand Prix. There you have it. Benaldi is in 2nd, and the second Kimi Raikkonen crosses the line, there you go. Jenson Button has won the 2001 World Drivers' Championship. There he is. Jenson Button still failing to get past Tarso Marquez. Oh no, it's on a run to the line. I think Marquez, no, he will not score any points. That Prost driver, I don't know whether it's Mazzacane or Lacey, but they must have got by right towards the very end, and Jenson Button has snatched a point from Tarso Marquez. So that means Tarso Marquez in the Minardi has gone through an entire season and has only scored points at 1 race, and that was the Japanese Grand Prix. No, sorry, not the Japanese Grand Prix, the Monaco Grand Prix. But then you got Jenson Button, the 2001 World Drivers' Champion. Jacques Villeneuve, he took himself out effectively, and Jenson Button, not only did he beat Jacques Villeneuve out on track, he scored points, did Jenson Button. I was not expecting that. And I'm assuming all we're waiting for now is Mika Hakkinen. No, because even Hakkinen's finished the race, so I don't know who we're waiting for. What a dramatic final race in this 2001 Reverse Grid Race Series. But of course, these Reverse Grid Race Series, they never failed to disappoint. The one on F1 Championship Edition, that was filled with thrills and spills and all sorts. It was just such a fun series to do. Formula 1 2002, that had its moments. It certainly had its oddities and strange moments, and it certainly was odd, but Michael Schumacher and Ferrari dominated that season. But then you've got this season. 11 different people, half of the drivers on the field won a race. Every single driver scored a point apart from Mika Hakkinen. What a balanced and unpredictable and Oh, the ties changed in the championship. Button was on top at one point, then Villeneuve, then Verstappen. Michael Schumacher had his day at the start of the series. BMW Williams also started this season very strong, and then their form tailed off way before the halfway mark of this season. But what a championship it has been. Thrills and spills, and Jacques Villeneuve taking himself out of contention for the 2001 Drivers' Championship. Villeneuve, I would still have to say Jacques Villeneuve is my nomination for Driver of the Season. He finished 12th this race. Jacques Villeneuve, he was down and out and beaten this Grand Prix, crashing to the back of Heinz-Harald Frentzen, yet despite that, he was still able to make up some places, then drop back, and then even after he dropped back for the second time, made up a load more places, overtook a lot of big name drivers, and still finished 12th. Sure, he lost the Drivers' Championship, but you cannot knock his resilience, his determination, getting back up all the time, and still, for a long portion of the season, Jacques Villeneuve did not seem like he was going to be a Drivers' Championship contender. But then, he got consistent, he got good, he got brilliant finishes. BAR turned up the wick, and then Jacques Villeneuve certainly emerged to be a very strong and worthy Drivers' Championship contender, and even a worthy Drivers' Champion. But there you go, Jenson Button, he has won the 2001 World Drivers' Championship. So it's on to the Drivers' Championship, and the headline story is that Jenson Button is the 2001 World Drivers' Champion. And Jenson Button, he's only scored 64 points all season. And I'm trying to think, I haven't done any research into this because of course I wasn't expecting this sort of statistic to come up, but I don't believe there's ever been a season, I would assume that there's never been a season in real life Formula 1 in which a driver has won with this little points. It was certainly not one where there's been 16 races, 17 races in this season. Sure, there might have been, seasons in the early days of Formula 1 in which drivers won with only about 60, 50, 70 points. But there would have been a lot less races back then, whereas now there's been 17 championship races, and yet the driver who won the Drivers' Championship only scored 64 points. But there you go, of course, that is the beauty of this reverse grid race series. Jacques Villeneuve in second, only 5 points off, he's on 59 points. Even back when he was racing, I believe Jacques Villeneuve used to wear race suits that were 2 sizes too big for him. Jacques Villeneuve is a strange guy, and that is what I think of him as. But even despite that, even despite my opinion of Jacques Villeneuve, I would still say that in this series, he has been the best driver bar none. Jenson Button's been good, he certainly deserves to win the Drivers' Championship. Jos Verstappen was brilliant for part of the season, and then the other part he was nowhere. But Jacques Villeneuve, from day one, right to the very end, he was right up there. He showed pace, overtaking, commitment, aggressiveness, but not too aggressive, apart from at this Grand Prix where it did get a bit over the top. Olivier Panis is third in the Drivers' Championship, away ahead of Jos Verstappen. Michael Schumacher overtook Giancarlo Fisichella in this final race of the season. Jean Alesi overtook Alonso and Ralf Schumacher. Kimi Raikkonen overtook David Coulthard, Jarno Trulli and Rubens Barrichello. And Enrique Bernoldi in fact overtook Alonso, Ralf Schumacher and Jean Alesi. He's now on the same points total as Heinz-Harald Frentzen. But as I said during the race, I will talk about Mika Hakkinen and how unlucky he has been this series not to score any points. Because, sure it's not canon, but Mika Hakkinen has scored points. There were 2 races I recorded, but then had to re-record due to either technical issues or getting a new laptop, all sorts. For various different reasons I had to re-record 2 races this season. The European Grand Prix and the Hungarian Grand Prix. I had to re-record those races, and in both of those races, first time around, Hakkinen scored points. The European Grand Prix, I believe Hakkinen finished about 5th or 4th, but then I had to re-record it. The good thing about that is when I re-recorded it, Nick Heidfeld scored points. So, if we had the original running, what would have happened is that Hakkinen would have scored points, but Nick Heidfeld would be the one driver who hasn't scored any points. The Hungarian Grand Prix, first time around, I recorded that. Mika Hakkinen finished, I honestly can't remember, but he was brilliant. He finished, I think maybe 2nd or 3rd or 4th, but I think he finished 2nd or 3rd, maybe 4th, but honestly, Hakkinen was phenomenal that race. And then I had to re-record it. So, make of that what you will, and to be honest, when you look at it that way, I have personally witnessed every single driver scoring points. So, canonically, not every driver scored points this season, but I saw it happen. So, make of that what you will, but I'm still just desperately sad that Mika Hakkinen in the McLaren, the 2 times world champion, a man who scored points on 2 separate occasions, didn't score any canonically. On to the Constructors' Championship, but it's effectively exactly the same as it was at the end of the American Grand Prix. One of the few differences though is that BAR have broken the triple point barrier. They're on 109 points. So BAR, certainly team of the season. So BAR, British American Racing, are the 2001 Formula 1 Constructors' Champions. Behind them you got Benetton, who were in second, and they were so close to winning the Constructors' Championship. For a long time it looked like they would, because I mean, even BAR, which kind of emerged to be a 2-driver team, it took them a long time to get going, and Benetton, it just looked like they were going to win the Constructors' Championship because they were really the only team with 2 decent and regular point scoring drivers. Arrows finished in 3rd, they beat Williams. Ferrari, thankfully for Ferrari, Michael Schumacher scored 3 points, but that doesn't really make any difference because Minardi didn't score any, Prost only scored 2, and Jordan didn't score any this race either. So Ferrari, they have finished 5th in the Constructors' Championship, but amazingly Ferrari are closer to Prost and Minardi in the Constructors' Championship in terms of points than they are to Williams. McLaren Mercedes, with Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, finished last in the Constructors' Championship. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, this race and this series. Jenson Button has won the 2001 World Drivers' Championship in this reverse grid race series. It's also the first time actually that the driver who won the Drivers' Championship in this series doesn't drive for the team that won the Constructors' Championship. So there you go, BAR took glory in the Constructors' Championship, Jenson Button took glory in the Drivers' Championship. 2 separate teams, winning 2 separate championships, but Benetton and BAR, they really were the class of the field. So Jenson Button, someone who I would have supported anyway if I was a spectator, if this is how the 2001 season went, this is someone who I would have supported. Jenson Button, a British driver. It makes me proud to be British to say that Jenson Button has won the World Drivers' Championship.
Get in there, Jenson. Fantastic. Well done. Mix 1, pick up rubber. Awesome job. Unbelievable.
We are the champions, my friends. We are world champions. World champions. Woo!